thunderstorm and rainfall is the forecast in South Wales, which makes you wonder, have we seen our summer already here in the UK? I've had a lovely day off from work today, and typically it hasn't stopped raining all day, so there's been no gardening to be done today. However, I did manage to get out here last night, and it was a lovely evening last night, and I managed to get a few little jobs done. I think all the plants are really enjoying this rainfall at the moment. And it's looking really good down here. And that's the first change that you can see that I've done there, just behind the greenhouse. I've removed one of my bamboos from the top of the garden and just placed it behind the greenhouse, where hopefully it'll grow tall and give us a little bit of screen in there. And there's certainly no let up today on this weather. It's not cold, but it's certainly not a lovely day. But the good news is that my loquat tree there is looking a lot better. It's less yellow and the leaves now have greened up. It's looking a lot healthier than it did a few weeks ago. I know one plant that's loving all this rainfall. There's all these ferns that I've got planted underneath this Fatsia japonica. And just look at the size on that one there. That's really filling up the centre of the bed. And just tucked away underneath the Dicksonia antarctica. Those ferns there are loving all this rainfall. Well, I think I'm going to go in now, have a quick cup of coffee and wait till later on and see if this rain is going to stop. So it's 5:30 now and it's finally stopped raining. So what was I doing yesterday? Let's have a little look. Now in this space here I did have 2 bamboos. This is the Fargesia Campbell, and I also had in the Nitida. And there wasn't enough space here really for the 2 of them, so I had to dig one out and move it behind the greenhouse. And this one, I really like this one, but after watching George on his jungle channel, he did say that although this is a clumping bamboo, it is quite a vigorous grower, so it's going to need quite a bit of space. So now it's got that space to grow. And I also had to move the smaller of the banana there to make a little bit of room for it. So looking at it now from the other direction, you can see that it is tipping backwards a little bit. But it's been heavy rain today, so I'm hoping that'll settle in the roots. It hasn't been in there long, probably about a year. So it wasn't that hard actually to dig out, and the roots weren't very deep. So I just relocated it further back and into the centre. And hopefully now it'll have a lot more space. The Salvia amistad that I've got in the centre bed, that was bought last year as a plug plant. and I had it in one of the other borders, and I didn't do anything at all to protect it over the winter months. And I just noticed it last week, so I brought it into the centre of the garden, and hopefully it should grow into quite a large clump there. So with all the changes that I've been making in the garden over the last few weeks, at least now having a good dose of rain has done wonders for the plants. And this Trachycarpus for Chilli that was hidden, that's really greened up beautifully. And that one you couldn't even see up until last week when I cleared this border. And moving now down the pathway. If you remember last week, I also sorted out this part of the garden here. And at the back there, I did have a laurel planted. And I decided against the laurel and just planted up with a little bit of Virginia red robin, just to add a little bit of colour into the bed. And hopefully now this area has got room just to grow and got plenty of space. The red rhododendron, that's just going over now. And the flowers are coming to the end. Virginia Louise, that's spread out beautifully. Then we've got the Pittosporum, Varno Bay behind there, Waggy Palm. I've kept the Wolfenii, and you can see now the Black Beauty, lovely pink flower on that. And that's where I've just planted the bamboo, just behind the greenhouse. The roses now are coming out in the garden. And this one here is a meteor. And this was the RHS rose for 2024. Beautiful colour on it. It's bright yellow with orangey red tinges on the petals. So moving now into the greenhouse. I also spent last night just trimming some of these down. And I've just kept these so that there's 1 or 2 stems growing from the plants. And you can see that we've already got lots of flowers. And there's also tomatoes starting to form. And that's lovely news. I've also got 2 plants growing outside by the tiki bar. And these, even though they're outside, I've also got some tomatoes coming on them, which is quite surprising considering we haven't really had an awful lot of sunshine lately. I've never tried growing tomatoes outside before. But it just goes to show But you don't really need a greenhouse to be able to grow tomatoes in your garden. And just look at them strawberries too. Now I have also been asked for an update on the Clematis Armandii. And yes, that has reached the top and it's doing really well. I've been waiting for it just to get a little bit of extra growth on the top. And this weekend, I'm going to go over to next doors and just train that to go across the top of the trellis. So hopefully then it'll extend over past the mirror eventually. And just look at the size on the leaves on this hosta guacamole. And this banana is the first Musa baju that I bought. And just look how tall this has got now. This has got to be about 10 feet tall. There's not many leaves on it yet this year, but it's definitely growing tall. This has been in different locations in the garden, but it's been here now for probably about 2 years. And I think it's about 3 years old. The first winter we did lose it to the ground, as it was quite a cold winter, but it grew back from the base. And the stem on this now is really thick. The plants in the garden always look spectacular after a lot of rain. And the tetrapanax is growing really tall. What a wonderful plant. And the leaf size on this is absolutely huge now. I'm loving the garden now with its more simplified look. And I have taken quite a lot out of this garden in the last fortnight. And I think I've had about 6 bags of excess waste to get rid of. But the garden certainly looks a lot nicer for it. Somebody did say to me this week that a garden is like a wardrobe, which is exactly what it's like. And they said that if it doesn't fit anymore, then don't keep it. And that's exactly what I've done to this garden. So it's just been a little quick update today around the garden on this very rainy mid-June day here in Neath, South Wales. So if you like gardening videos like this one, then please like, comment and subscribe. And it's completely free. And please leave a comment, as I love reading all of your comments. And so, until next time, I hope the weather's a bit better where you are, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.